Thank you very much, everyone, for joining me once again. My guest today is a familiar face on television screens, former England cricketer, Lancashire great, umpire, coach. He's done everything in cricket, and one of the world's most popular commentators when it comes to cricket. David Bumble Lloyd. Welcome to you, David.
Yep, Sides, nice to be with you again.
How's things, Bumble? Enjoying the World Cup?
Well, I'd have to say that I'm not really. I think I'm not sure that it's took off. We saw a super game, Australia, New Zealand, but other than that, it's been one-way traffic, which I don't think creates a great tournament. When you look at the Rugby World Cup, which has been going alongside, that has really caught everybody's imagination. It's caught mine. And I'm not a rugby fan. I don't know rugby. I don't come from a rugby background. But the interesting thing for me is that I can hear the referee. I can hear what the referee's saying. And so he's sort of instructing me as to what's going on.
Let's start with England, unfortunately for yourself, Bumble. Bottom of the table, 1-1, lost 5. I think if somebody had said that they'd be in that situation after 6 games, we would have said that they were barking mad. What's gone wrong?
Well, I'm shocked, and so I'm going to put a coach's hat on now. They're out of the tournament, and I think this is a time that you just sit back, just come back a little bit as a coach. Don't fire off, and do a lot of listening, because other people will start talking. And I noticed that Butler's had his say, Matthew Mott has had his say, Owen Morgan's had his say, and so what we're seeing is a team who were world beaters, world champions, wonderful cricketers. Now, these are the same group. It's almost the same group. You can add Jason Roy to it. And so is it a step too far? Were they underprepared? So when you're talking about selection, if they're underprepared, pick your experienced players, because your experienced players should be able to see you through. Now, they've not been able to do that. And the alarming thing is that I think they've been so hesitant. I thought they'd take this by the scruff of the neck and say, hey, here we are. And they just haven't done it.
Morgan said, Owen Morgan, has said that he feels that there's something not right within the group. What do you think, Bumble? I mean, you've been in that in dressing rooms before. You've had strong characters in dressing rooms playing alongside you and for you. Do you see that there is something not right in that group?
I'd be absolutely amazed if that's the case, because this group has been together for so long. And I think the coach has been very quick to say that, I've got a great relationship with Morgan and I'd like to have a chat with him. And apparently Morgan's been away for the birth of his child. And so when I'll come back again, you're better as a coach just to listen, because everybody will have the say. And so you can digest it from then on. And then you take it a stage further to the people who run English cricket. What do you think about it? Was it something that you're expecting? Is this a competition, actually, that you're not that savvy about? We've won it once. These are questions that will be asked. I wouldn't put any blame on these players. They've had a poor time, a real poor time. And neither do I see, it's a collective loss of form. That doesn't happen. It might be a trip too far. And as one ex-England player said, they've just fallen off a cliff.
Time for some new faces then, Bumble.
Yeah, well, I think, win, lose, or draw, just say they'd have gone on and won it with this team, or this squad of players. It's quite an aging team. And so I think at the end, whatever had happened, they start again. It's always a good time to have a sheet of paper, a clear sheet of paper, and start again. So that will definitely happen. A mild criticism, I would say that Harry Brook is going to be a great player in any format. And he didn't just get in the team. Now, I thought that he should have got in the team.
Let's move on to another team that you're quite fond of, Pakistan.
Yes. Yeah.
Been a fairly
Yeah.
quiet tournament. We've had the chief
Yes.
selector resigning. We've had allegations against the players. Messages being revealed on television. So yeah, standard Pakistan stuff. Just a fairly quiet tournament. But how do you think they've played, Bumble? I mean, they've not done a lot better than England, really.
No, they haven't. They've done a little bit better than England, but again, they've looked hesitant. You've got to take this by the scruff of the neck. And, there are teams that have scored 350 plus. And if you've got a good batting lineup, which Pakistan have, that's what you should be aiming for, 350 plus. They've not been able to do it. I get, having been to Pakistan on a number of occasions, that I get that the players are under so much spotlight. They're under so much pressure. But they should be able to embrace that. You've got to enjoy that. And then it's quite sad that ex-players come and have a pop at them, which I don't like. I really don't like that. But it goes with the package. And Pakistan has always done that your ex-players are put in front of cameras and they say this and that. And, I think that causes a little bit of damage. The players themselves will know that they've not achieved. And when I looked at the bowling attack, I thought the bowling attack will be tasty. They'll take a few scalps, but again, you've got to score runs and you've got to boss the game with a bit of ego and a bit of arrogance, and they've not done it.
Yeah, one of the many criticisms that the Pakistan team has faced has been their timid approach. Humble. We're
Yes.
seeing the likes of Australia and India and South Africa, New Zealand, these guys, they're looking for 350, 400 runs, whereas Pakistan, their sort of plan seems to be, let's get 280 and then hope for the best.
Yeah. And I think that is what we've seen from England as well, that the days of 250, 280 are long gone. You've got to be a minimum 330. And it's not that the pitches have been poor and conditions have been poor, because other teams have been doing it. And so, they've missed an opportunity, particularly Pakistan, and against the old enemy, India. They would dearly love to have won that game. And they didn't turn up. They just didn't turn up. And you mentioned the word timid, and that's what I'm seeing. That you look at the scores and they're just so scores, which puts so much pressure on the team as a unit. Whereas if you're out there bossing the game, you really get in there and get a shed full of runs and say, right then, over to you, see how far you get, because we've got a very good attack. And so it's a missed opportunity, but, when you get to Pakistan, you understand that it's the be-all and end-all. They have to win, and they've fallen short.
You mentioned about the India match, Bumble. That must have been an interesting experience. 120,000 fans or thereabouts, and hardly any Pakistan fans. What do you make of that situation where no Pakistani fans are being given visas for the tournament, Bumble? Do you think it puts a bit of a dampener on the tournament?
A dampener, I think it absolutely drenches it. I just wondered, and I'm watching from afar, and said it's your people. And I'm thinking, well, why didn't the team say, okay, well, we ain't playing? It's just, I know it's politics, and I know it's two countries, and it's not my remit, it's just not. But if we're good enough to play against each other, surely we should be able to support each other. And you and I know that these players get on perfectly. They get on so well. The players of both teams are good friends and they get on well, and the rest of it is a sadness.
And on that point there, Bumble, you want to have a marquee event, a global event, a world event which wants to highlight the great things about cricket, and yet you're not allowing fans from one of the nations to actually go there and witness the games live. And even the journalists, they got their visas last minute as well.
Yeah, or they were asked to leave. They wanted to have been asked to leave. So, you're into real deep politics here between two countries. But, again, I'll absolutely stress, I'm looking from outside. I don't get that you can play against each other at sport, but you can't come and watch them. I don't get that. It's quite beyond me. And if you just want to extend this conversation to a wonderful competition, one of the greatest competitions, the IPL, no Pakistan players, that's wrong.
Yep, sadly so, Bumble. Looking at the tournament as a whole at the moment, India just seem unstoppable, don't they? Home advantage, big crowds, good conditions for them. They know the pitches. Can anyone stop them?
Well, they can. And, I had my 4 teams were for the semi-final were India, South Africa, Australia, England. So England are binned. And I also had a little caveat, watch out for Pakistan, because you never know what's coming. And so I think that India have got 13, they've got the conditions, they've got the crowd, which always, it's great, it's terrific. Unless it flips on you and there's too much pressure, if there's a little bit too much. And so it's easier for the other two, so I'd say the other 2 big players. And I think I'm wrong. I keep dismissing New Zealand. I don't know how they're going to go. But they've had the moments. But I think South Africa look very, very strong. Australia are dogged. They'll just keep coming at you. They'll produce something. And so South Africa and Australia will be just sitting quietly and watching the euphoria over India, the hype over India. And so they'll just be sitting nicely and thinking, well, nobody's bothering about us, which is absolutely fine. And so we're just over halfway through the tournament, a little bit more than halfway. And I think that the big teams, the big players, and the 3 that we've mentioned should come on strong.
So we're thinking India to win it then, Bumble.
Well, right at the beginning, before it started, I said that who's going to beat India? It's in India. They've got the crowd. They've got the conditions. They've got the players for a start. When you look at that attack, they've got a superb attack. And it looks to me as if they've gone like 6 batters, 5 bowlers. That's the way that they've gone. Whereas other teams will mix and match. Well, I'll get 4 overs out of him and I'll get 6 overs out of him and he can bat and he can bat. India have gone, right, we're going to pick the best bowlers. Bumrah, Shami, Yadav. They've got Jadeja to spear the left-arm spinners. I think they've got every base covered. Yeah, they've got every base covered, and I think that's a very interesting strategy that they've looked at it and said, okay, we're going to get the best batters and the best bowlers because we know the conditions, and so it'd be interesting to see. They look a real powerhouse, South Africa. But we know about South Africa getting to semi-finals, they get the jitters. They get the absolute jitters. I don't think Australia will get the jitters. And so there's along the way, and we'll talk again, Saj, we'll have another chat later on. There's going to be a real shootout. There'll be a big, big game when both teams have to win. And then it's who's got the bottle.
And finally, Bumble, the Pakistan cricket team are looking for a new chief selector. Fancy that job?
I love the job out of curiosity, nothing else. And so, I mean, it must be such a tough job I tell you that the tough jobs are that chief selector, coach, captain, because you have to win. There's no coming second is just not good enough. But it's a wonderful place to be. I've been loads of times and I've loved it. Absolutely loved it. I've been with Beefy. I've been with Gower. We've had an absolute ball. I've been with Hollyoak as well. Adam Hollyoak. Oh, what a scream.
I'm sure Pakistani fans and the Pakistan Cricket Board would welcome you back with open arms, Bumble, at some point in the future. Definitely. Right. Well, thank you very much for your time, Bumble. As you said, we'll catch up probably after the tournament's finished, and we'll do a little review of the tournament. But once again, thanks very much for your time, and all the best.
Yeah, let's chat at the end, Saj. We'll have another chat.
Thanks, Bumble.
Pleasure, mate. Thanks a lot again. Thank you.
Thank you.